that those on the screen are queuing for this debate. If you are not log out so that we follow the list on the screen. Yes, Makalimul, what's the point of order?
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether I'm right, but has even this report been moved and seconded before we debate it? Because I thought the committee should have moved the report.
It was moved by the Deputy Speaker, who is the chair of the Liaison Committee, and seconded by the Honorable Distinguished Member for Endebess.
This afternoon?
A few minutes ago.
Okay. Honorable Speaker.
I notice you are busy reading something.
No. You know, the thing is, anyway, let me not question the moving and the seconding, but let me just continue.
What is the problem?
You know, Honorable Speaker, what I thought was such an important report, earlier you did indicate to us that even the schedule is not here. I thought the mover should have taken a bit of time to educate the House in terms of what are the highlights of this supplementary budget, what are the recommendations of the Liaison Committee, just as read the budget policy statement. Honorable Speaker, in the morning, we were debating the budget policy statement with very good moving and seconding, where the issues were highlighted and seconded. Now this one, that's what I'm saying, I don't want to question the moving. But I thought for such an important report, it would have been important that we get the highlights in terms of what is changing, Honorable Speaker, in terms of total figures, and then we'll be able to
Honorable Makalimul, as far as the Speaker is concerned, motion has been moved and seconded. Get ready to debate it. Yes. Majority Leader, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying, Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this motion for consideration of the second supplementary estimates for this financial year as ably moved by the Deputy Speaker and seconded by the Honorable Pokose. I know Honorable Makalimulu, being an economist, would have wanted more details, but I believe he was also very busy reading the same report. That's why he did not hear the Deputy Speaker and Honorable Pokose move and second. But Honorable Speaker, this second supplementary comes in the backdrop of a period where the nation, as I said earlier when we were discussing the budget policy statement, our economy is stabilizing and increasingly becoming better than the position that we were in. Two, Honorable Speaker, it comes in the backdrop of a situation where we found ourselves in with a loss of almost 6 months without a finance bill following the events of June last year and the eventual rejection of the finance bill. Honorable Speaker, many people may take it for granted that there was no impact on our budget process by the events of June 2024. But Kenyans across the country can bear witness that there was a real impact of the disruptions that came with the rejection of the finance bill in 2024. Many Kenyans around the country have been agitating for rehabilitation of roads that have had no money to rehabilitate. You have seen many actors in the labor movement, right from doctors, teachers, professionals in the teaching fraternity, those in our universities, agitating for implementation of collective bargaining agreements, which were supposed to be funded out of the monies or revenues that were to be raised by the finance bill of 2024. But, Honorable Speaker, allow me to take this opportunity to thank the House and thank the many Kenyans who in October last year joined the Finance and National Planning Committee during public participation to reconsider many of the proposals that were there in the finance bill. And therefore, we may need to understand that this supplementary tool comes in that backdrop of reduced revenues out of the events of June 2024, the belated mobilization of revenues because we did not have a finance bill to mobilize resources as was expected by the 1st of July 2024. It wasn't until the end of December, because the bills that we passed on the 4th of December commenced to mobilize revenues from the 27th of December. And therefore, we have only mobilized resources for about 2 months, the whole of January and now February. This is only the 2.5 month when we have had the tax measures that we put mobilizing resources. And it is in the backdrop of that, Honorable Speaker, that the National Treasury has had to review the budget of the financial year 2024-2025 so that they're in tandem with the revenues and the reality of the time, because the revenues that were projected at the time we were doing the budget last year were projected with having in mind that we'd have a finance bill that would collect revenues from the 1st of July to the 30th of June this year. But as the case may be, we have only, as I said, been able to collect revenues from January to date. And therefore, we have now to review the revenue projections. And with the revision of revenue projections, we also have to review the expenditure projections, Honorable Speaker. And I'm glad the National Treasury has factored in all this in the revision of the expenditure and in an effort to continue with the fiscal consolidation that I was speaking about earlier in the morning, to ensure that we close this financial year with a supplementary budget that is as close to reality as possible, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the proposed reallocations and additional allocations that are contained in this report and the schedules that are being printed and which members will be able to access from the tablets shortly, part of the gainers, Honorable Speaker, is the security sector. And again, Honorable Speaker, is also worth noting that the National Police Service has been allocated an additional 7.5 billion, 5 billion of which is shortfalls in insurance costs, and 2.5 billion to support the Haiti peacekeeping mission, Honorable Speaker, and in addition, also other resources to ensure that we continue to secure our country. Honorable Speaker, you know, I heard many people recently fault the policy proposal to allow Kenyans from all corners of the country to be able to access ID cards fairly and in an equitable way without discrimination. And some of the resources you see here, Honorable Speaker, going to the National Intelligence Service is to ensure that security measures in the country are enhanced so that even as you issue out identity cards to Kenyans, we make sure that it is only Kenyans who are accessing our identity cards. Honorable Speaker, there has been also a problem of pending bills. And our economy has slowed down largely because many people, many business people across the country have bills that they delivered goods and services to the government, the national government and our county governments, and have not been paid. And part of the culprits has been the Ministry of Defense. And I can see, Honorable Speaker, in this supplementary budget, the Ministry of Defense has an additional 6 billion shillings, which is going toward settlement of pending bills. And I do hope that the Principal Secretary and the accounting officers in the Ministry of Defense will be able to settle, especially this with the Teacher Service Commission. You've had teachers complain about the health services that they are getting through the scheme that they have. And we have an additional 18 billion shillings that are going to the Teacher Service Commission, again to cater for insurance shortfalls, teacher promotion and personnel emoluments, promotions. To Honorable Speaker, the State Department of University Education is a major beneficiary. You can see some 16 billion shillings going to the university education, to, among other things, 4.2 billion to implement the university's collective bargaining agreement, the CBA. As I said, you have seen UASU and other university dons even coming to petition Parliament at the gates of Parliament and demonstrating in town, agitating for implementation of the CBA agreement. Therefore, there is that 4.2 billion shillings to ensure that the State Department for University Education honors the CBA agreement that they entered into. There are also upward revisions that mostly relate to A&A. And Honorable Speaker, it's important to note because, again, many people have criticized the digitization of government services through eCitizen. If you skim through the schedules and the committee's report, you see a lot of revisions of A&A, appropriations in aid. And these to a total, my colleague is reminding me, almost 19 billion. These are resources that have not been factored in the budget, but are now realizable, and this has come out of the digitization of government services through eCitizen. And through this digitization, Honorable Speaker, many institutions of government, many agencies of government, ministries and departments are now able to get more resources in A&A. And this is the upward mobility, you say, of A&A in the State Department of Universities and others, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, again, in healthcare, Kenyatta National Hospital is getting additional resources. Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital, MTRH, and I don't want to get into the figures, and KEMSA, Honorable Speaker. And this again speaks to the need, Honorable Speaker, of ensuring that both our national referral hospitals are adequately resourced to be able to offer services to Kenyans when they need them, and especially under the Social Health Insurance Fund, or SHA. Honorable Speaker, there is an additional 3 billion shillings that is going for the Emergency, Chronic and Critical Illnesses Fund, 1.5 billion shillings, stipend for healthcare professional interns, and 600 million for operational authority appeared before us in Naivasha, and you did ask the Committee on Health to sit and look into the issues that are bedeviling the implementation of SHA. Honorable Speaker, part of the issues and the challenges that were identified is the low funding that went into the Primary Healthcare Fund and the Emergency, Chronic and Critical Illnesses Fund. Honorable Speaker, it's important for Kenyans to appreciate that the more members who enlist onto SHA and make contributions, the more efficient and effective SHA will become in terms of being able to cater for needs of their customers or needs of patients who walk into hospitals. For instance, Honorable Speaker, the Primary Healthcare Fund is meant to ensure that any Kenyan who is registered under SHA or Taifa Care, if they walk into a level 1, level 2, level 3 hospital, they see a doctor, they get a prescription, they get treated, and they go home without being asked for a coin. So long as that primary healthcare facility, whether it is a private healthcare facility or a public healthcare facility, is enlisted under the Social Health Authority. Honorable Speaker, it's sad that in some counties, and I think it was Trans Nzoia County that I was able to learn, many hospitals are not enlisted in the Social Health Authority. And therefore, anyone who walks into a public health facility in Trans Nzoia County, for instance, if that hospital is not enlisted by the county government in SHA, they will not get services by SHA